I tried to record this earlier, but Screencast is stupid, and for some reason set my microphone to off, so I have to re-record short. There's kids in my room, you might hear noises that might mess with stuff on my keyboard. Let's go! Also, I put Victor in B tier, because electrokinesis, hyperintelligence, electromagnetism, machinery, adaptation. Do I need to say more? I'm not going to, because I'm a little bit angry. Okay, Eon. Eon has chronokinesis. That alone is what put Maltruant in S tier, along with his skill with it. Eon is skilled enough to go up with Professor Paradox, who is, pun intended, eons old. The dude's probably explored all of time from beginning to end, assuming that in the Ben 10 universe time has an end. So, Eon has eons of skill. Yes, I made that pun twice, deal with it. Plus chronokinesis, the dude was able to pretty much just dust way big immediately. I honestly think the only aliens that could go up against him reliably would be Clockwork, because he also has chronokinesis, and Alien X because he's beyond chronokinesis. Chronokinesis, and astrokinesis. If you have chronokinesis on top of something, you're probably not going to be beaten. Alright, so this dude, don't know who he is. I don't think I've seen him. Alright, malware. So malware can absorb technology. Depending on the technology he absorbs, or how many galvanic mechamorphs he absorbs, it's been shown that he can be made into armor with Vilgax and Malgax. So, on his own, and in general, he's powerful, but he requires a lot of setup. Now, with that setup, he can frickin' match a Takusa prep time that he may or may not have. Still, on his own, he's shown he can contend with, like, Forearms, Diamond Head, obviously Upgrade, and if he gets his hand on any technology, he's gonna make it part of him. Alright, so this dude, I don't remember his name either, but I know he's the dude who cut off Ben's hand, and I think he appears again a few other times. I don't remember the aliens they used against him, but I don't think there were any real powerhouses. I'm gonna give him D tier because I've seen his debut, but I haven't seen much else from him. But what I've seen from that episode, he's not like a slouch in combat, but he's also not great. Alright, so now we got Boyd and Octagon. I wanted to call them Blukich and Dreeba for a second. Now these guys, I was actually thinking about it in between rendering of the last episode and before the start of this one. They have a lot of high-tier tech at their disposal, like stuff capable of creating mass destruction. They're just idiots. So I actually have to give them B tier, because while Octagon is decently smart, he's shown to not be a very plan-heavy dude. If they were smarter, honest to God, they would probably be S tier. Alright, Argit. I guess I gotta give Argit B tier because he's kinda like the real brothers, but he's actually smart. He runs kind of like the underground now, a mutant to Kustar and stuff like that. If it weren't for his Empire stuff and the connections he has, he would honestly be an F tier. Maybe a D tier because of his like spines and stuff like that. Right? Kyber. Kyber can go toe-to-toe with Wrath, and there's actually a little bit of an Easter egg that implies he's hunted Armadillo species and the only living ultimate Vaxasaurian, or ultimate Humongosaur. If he did that, that boy is strong. He is... Kyber is honestly scarier. In lore and in Easter egg stuff in his trophy room, then oh my freaking Windows, whatever things popped up. So Kyber is honestly a lot stronger in his lore and the stuff shown in his trophy room than we ever see in the series. And that's honestly kind of disappointing because his biggest quote-unquote feat is contending with Wrath and using the Nematrix, which isn't even his feat. Ignore the kittens, they're play fighting, they get very vocal when they do it. Okay, Crab is another one that I thought of. I thought he was going to be really low, like D tier, maybe C tier. But then I started looking up against the aliens he fought against. I mean, the dude, yeah, he got owned by gray matter, but that was because Ben chose to fight really smart. Crab himself isn't that smart, but he's also not an idiot. The dude went up against Ghost Freak and Diamond Head and technically won against both. He didn't lose until gray matter exploited a weakness in him. So, I actually think Crab could be in B tier. I mean, he was able to counter an Ectoneurite and a Petrosapien. I couldn't remember Diamond Head's species for a second. Alright, this dude, I think his name is Billy Billions, don't know crap about him. Okay, this is a Scare. A tier, easily. His power isn't that great, but judging off of just all the random abilities and ways that he can take over an entire planet in honestly no time at all, the Scare is, well, is a scary. Okay, again, trying to go pretty quickly. Volcanus. I'm gonna give him B tier because he has a decent-sized empire. He seems to have a very strange knack for finding Titanite, which is scary considering he just sells it and doesn't use it. Obviously, if he used it, he could have troops armed with Titanite weapons and armor at this point. Okay, Enoch. Well, simply because of the Forever Knights, I gotta give him S tier. And while on the topic of him, I brought up Protector of Earth before, I think. In one of the, I think in the last tier list, but one of my favorite bosses from Protector of Earth, pretty much the first Ben 10 game, was Enoch's boss fight, the second boss fight. Actually, technically the third, but I really liked his. Alright, this dude. I did this once before without recording it, and I gave him a really high rank, but after looking back, I think it's just B tier. Because honestly, I have no idea, with the technology that he has, how on earth he was able to deal with keeping all those really strong and seasoned warriors inside his little thing, his little tiny empire that was used as entertainment. This guy, F tier, he had a tick that honestly we don't even know if they controlled. Yeah, it could wipe out a planet, but a bunch of these guys can wipe out a planet on their own and they don't need a freaking backup to do it. Alright, this dude, Kangaroo Commando, I'm giving him C tier. He could contend with Wildvine, which is not the most impressive, but still pretty impressive. I consider Wildvine mid-tier, maybe upper-low tier, with the Omnitrix. Wait, Charmcaster. I have to... am I going to give Charmcaster A or S? I was thinking about this before I started the video, because Charmcaster has magical skill comparable to Gwen, but she's not an Anodite, so she doesn't have those Anodite powers. Magic is still very versatile and very powerful. I'll give her A tier only because I'm later going to give another magic user S tier. Alright, I forget this guy's name. He's the stink breath guy. Yeah, his breath is acidic, but he's not going to accomplish much. While I'm doing it, I'll do the whole Circus Freaks. I'll give Frightwig C tier, because she's definitely more combat capable than this dude. I mean, she's more agile, her hair has literal maces at the end. I'm having a stroke, so ignore that. No? Okay, she's more physically capable than frickin' breath mints over here. Alright, Thumbskull, I'll give him B tier. Because he's physically strong, he can kind of contend with Wild Mutt a little bit. I mean, he got his frickin' ass beat. But judging off of all the guys we have here in B tier, I think Thumbskull could kind of compare. Nah, I'm dropping him to C tier. Honestly, there's no way he could contend with most of the guys in here that are actually combat capable. Alright, Driscoll, going off of... We don't know crap about what Driscoll could do with the sub energy because we didn't have any build-up to it, and there were no, like, solid feats to go off of. We got pretty much nothing. I'll give him A tier because I know, based off of what's implied, the sub-energy was probably ridiculously powerful. But I got nothing else other than that to go off of. Animo, I guess I'll give Animo B tier. Like, on his own he's not that strong, but he has some powerful devices, you know, some good suits. He can make genetic hybrids and stuff, and he does a lot with DNA. I could honestly see Animo down the line making like a pseudo-Omnitrix that just uses animals from the actual animal kingdom on Earth. Like, imagine if he got an Omnitrix that instead of using suits, he had a device that could turn him into like animal hybrids. Like, he gets I had a slight hiccup. I don't know where that left off. I'm only counting cybernetic Vilgax, because that is the strongest Vilgax. I'm sorry, that's the truth. The only one stronger than him is Vilgax 10,000 from the original Future. That's the only Vilgax that was objectively stronger than him, other than Dagon Vilgax and maybe Malgax. So, this version of Vilgax was a beast, contending with Diamond Head, literally all his aliens. He didn't fight Grey Matter, or really, he didn't fight Ripjaw's Grey Matter, or Upgrade. He kind of fought Ghost Freak, but not much. But the fact that he was still able to contend with the aliens that he did is a pretty big feat. And also the fact that, I'm pretty sure one of his punches, like, kind of shattered. Well, not really shattered, but did heavy damage to Mount Rushmore, and that wasn't even at his full power, I don't think. But also before ever achieving his full power, when he, like, pushes the pistons into his muscles and stuff like that, the durability and strength he had were astounding. And honestly, his maneuverability and agility are more than you would expect it to be due to his size and stuff like that. Oh, we gotta hurry up, I'm almost out of time. Alright. Forget Hex, he's S tier because he's Charmcaster, but debatably stronger because he's older and has more experience with magic. And magic is very powerful and versatile. We saw that Quinn was able to contend with most of the ultimate alien level characters like NRG, Chromastone, and very, very briefly with Waybig. And she's not a master of hexes. Alright, this thing, don't know what it is. Clancy, D tier, he's honestly not that strong, which is kind of a shame, because I really like him. Clancy was really cool. I wish they used him more and didn't turn him into a freaking bug, which is why I like Protector of Earth, because they used him and his boss fight was kind of good. But honestly, I wish he was used more, but he's not that strong. Honestly, Heat Blast, any day of the week, could have taken him out. I'm pretty sure Stinkfly. You know what would have been cool? If Ben used Stinkfly against him, or tried to use Stinkfly against him, and because of his, like, insectokinesis or whatever, his telepathic communication with insects or whatever he has, he actually controlled Ben as Stinkfly. That would have been cool. Alright, now 6-6, he can contend pretty well with the Galactic Enforcers. As for that, because you got Tiny in there, and you got Ultimo, and Synaptech, who has psychic powers and stuff like that, I think he's actually an A tier. He's very skilled, and while he does take a lot of losses, he does kind of become like Vilgax's pet in Secret of the Omnitrix, as like a cat dog or whatever. You know, Vilgax is still a beast, it makes sense he'd be able to do it. Okay, Zombozo, I'm gonna give him B tier, going just off of Classic, because I've seen him in Alien Force, he was completely unimpressive. I haven't seen him in Omniverse yet. But, honestly, Zombozo wasn't capable of a whole lot, but his illusions were still pretty interesting, which, if you've seen the Ink Tank, you know about. Because Kuro talks about it pretty much any time he brings up Zombozo, and I can understand why. It's an interesting power. And now, Rojo. Rojo is C tier. She's not very powerful, she's not very skilled, but she has some good equipment on her side. Alright, I'm almost out of time, and we're ending the tier list here. So, I don't know what I'll be doing next. If you have any ideas, leave them in the comments below, because I like doing these tier lists. I like doing power scaling stuff. Anyway, see you later.